For decades, humanity had stood on the edge of an abyss. The vast Galactic Coalition, a powerful alliance of alien species that spanned several star systems, had viewed Earth with suspicion. Its rapid technological advancements and increasing presence beyond the solar system unsettled many among the Coalition's council. Tensions simmered, trade embargoes tightened, and fleets assembled just beyond known borders. But on this day, the fragile thread of peace held in the grand halls of the neutral station Orion's Gate, shimmering above a binary star system. Representatives of Earth and the Coalition gathered. The chamber was a masterpiece of alien architecture and human ingenuity, glass-like walls that shifted colors with emotion. Vast floating platforms that floated effortlessly, and a gentle hum of advanced technology blending with a soft murmur of voices from dozens of species. President Amina Salim stood at the Earth delegation's podium, her eyes steady as she addressed the assembly. For the first time in generations, we have come not as adversaries, but as partners seeking a new path. This treaty is more than a document. It is a promise of cooperation, respect, and a shared future among the stars. Around the hall, representatives nodded or exchanged glances. Some bore expressions of hope, others guarded skepticism. The treaty was the culmination of years of negotiation, compromises, and tense moments. It limited certain human space expansions, established trade routes, and set frameworks for cultural exchange. In return, Earth's technology would be shared selectively. And the Coalition pledged non-aggression toward humanity's interests as the treaty was signed. The chamber erupted in applause, the sound echoing across the vast halls and transmitted in real time to billions back on Earth and across Coalition worlds. On Earth, cities paused. From New Washington to the floating cities above the Pacific, people gathered around screens to witness history. This is a victory for humanity. Amina's voice continued, calm but firm. We have stood firm against doubt and fear, and we have shown our desire for peace. But peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the courage to face those challenges together. Despite the celebrations, not all was calm beneath the surface. Among the alien delegates, a shadow of doubt lingered. The rapid progress of humanity unsettled many. Humans adapted quickly, learned from every encounter, and often defied expectations. For some council members, this was not a promise of partnership, but a warning of an unpredictable future. Ambassador Thalanor of the Saran Dominion, a towering figure clad in ceremonial robes, watched the proceedings with a tight smile. His species was known for their long memory and caution. They are resourceful, he muttered to his aide. Too resourceful for comfort. Back on Earth, the media buzzed with excitement and speculation. Analysts debated whether this treaty was a true peace or a temporary ceasefire waiting to fracture. Yet, for a moment, humanity basked in hope in the quieter corners of the conference. Diplomats from both sides engaged in small talks. Cultural exchange programs were planned, and scientists discussed joint ventures. A tentative bridge was forming, fragile but real. But peace, as anyone familiar with history knew, was rarely simple. That evening, the leaders of the human delegation gathered in their quarters aboard Orion's Gate. The room overlooked the swirling stars, a reminder of how vast and unknown the galaxy truly was. General Marcus Reed, Earth's top military advisor, broke the silence. We've bought time, but we must prepare for what comes next. There will be factions that reject this treaty. Amina nodded thoughtfully. Agreed. We must balance hope with vigilance. Our next steps are critical, not just to maintain peace, but to build trust. The delegation spent hours reviewing intelligence reports, studying alien cultures, and planning how to approach the uncertain days ahead, as the station's artificial lights dimmed for the cycle's rest period. The galaxy beyond Orion's Gate remained both beautiful and unpredictable. For humanity, the fragile peace was a victory. but also a delicate thread holding back the tide of conflict. Only time would tell how long it would last. The celebration at Ryan's Gate was meant to be a turning point, a moment to build bridges between Earth and the alien coalition. The Great Hall glittered with luminescent banners representing dozens of species. The aroma of exotic dishes mingled with the hum of music played on instruments unfamiliar to human ears. Diplomats and officials moved among the crowds, exchanging greetings and cautious smiles. Human Ambassador Lila Moreno stood near the center of the hall, gauging with several delegates from the Saren Dominion. Her mission was simple yet vital: foster goodwill and deepen cultural understanding. As she conversed with Ambassador Viaran, a towering Saren whose scales shimmered like polished onyx, she sought to lighten the mood. With a warm smile, Lila made a gesture common on Eartha. Quick, casual thumbs up, accompanied by the phrase, "We're good, no worries." For humans, it was a simple sign of approval, confidence, and reassurance. For most species, it was harmless, or so she thought. Bronze. Expressions stiffened, eyes narrowing beneath his heavy brow. The assembly around them paused, sensing the sudden change in atmosphere. Ambassador Moreno. Viaran said slowly, voice low but sharp. That gesture is not merely rude, it is an insult of the highest order in Saren culture. It implies mockery and disdain. Lila's smile faltered. "I didn't mean any offense. It's just a friendly gesture on Earth." Vron's gaze did not soften. Intent does not erase meaning. Your gesture has insulted the Saren people and calls into question the sincerity of your words tonight. Word of the incident traveled quickly. What began as a quiet, private exchange became the subject of whispered conversations, then hushed reports, and finally a wildfire of outrage broadcast across alien news networks. Clips of Lila's gesture circulated with commentaries condemning Earth's representatives for disrespect and cultural ignorance. On Earth, the news came as a shock. The gesture was so commonplace, so innocuous. How could one simple motion unravel? Months of careful diplomacy. President Amina Salim convened an emergency meeting of her closest advisors. "We cannot let this misunderstanding undo all we have achieved," she said firmly. "Our next steps must show humility and a willingness to understand their culture." The Ministry of Cultural Affairs immediately prepared formal apologies, emphasizing the unintentional nature of the offense. Teams of cultural experts worked to create detailed briefings on alien customs and taboos, hoping to prevent further incidents. Yet, the damage was already done. Within the alien coalition, factions who had been wary of humanity seized the moment. They amplified the offense, framing it as evidence of Earth's disrespect and potential threat. Propaganda machines churned out warnings that humanity's rise came at the expense of galactic harmony. Ambassador Thalanor, mischievous, cautious, but open to peace, found his position challenged by younger, more aggressive council members. "This insult is not isolated," he warned. "It signals a dangerous arrogance. We must prepare for the consequences." As tensions simmered, covert operatives from both sides stepped up surveillance. Intelligence agencies monitored diplomats and military movements, seeking signs of sabotage or hidden agendas. In the midst of the chaos, Lila Moreno found herself overwhelmed by guilt. "I only wanted to connect," she confided to her deputy. "I never imagined a gesture could cause such a storm." Her resolve hardened. If diplomacy had faltered, she would find another way to rebuild trust, even if it meant walking into the eye of the storm. Meanwhile, in the corridors of the coalition's power, debates raged. Was this blunder a reason to sever ties? Or a test of humanity's commitment to peace? The fragile peace that had been so carefully crafted now trembled on a knife's edge. The calm that had briefly settled over Orion's gate was shattered not by force of arms, but by a storm of words. Earth's leaders worked frantically to mend the damage caused by the diplomatic blunder. Ambassador Lila Moreno spearheaded a campaign of cultural exchange programs and heartfelt apologies. Every available channel broadcast messages of respect and understanding to the alien coalition's members. Yet, beneath the surface, old fears and fresh suspicions twisted these efforts into fuel for discord. The Warhawks, a faction of the coalition convinced that humanity's rapid rise was a threat that could not be ignored, seized the moment. Led by Counselor Veshkar of the Zenthari Dominion, they spread rumors that Earth's apologies were insincere, a clever mask for hidden ambitions, humanity's quick rise and adaptability. Veshkar declared in a broadcast that echoed across dozens of systems, "Cannot be trusted. They have shown their true colors: disrespect, deception, and disregard for the traditions that bind us." On Earth, President Amina Salim received urgent intelligence reports detailing the growing hostility. The media was filled with conflicting narratives. Some coalition worlds rallied behind peace, hoping the blunder would be resolved. Others echoed Veshkar's warnings, stirring fear and uncertainty. General Marcus Reed stood with Amina in the secure command center aboard Orion's gate. The blunder was unfortunate, but the response has been far worse. They're using this as a pretext to build support for military action. Amina nodded, her expression grave. We must counter this with transparency and diplomacy. But we also need to prepare our defenses. As tensions rose, secret operations intensified. Coalition intelligence agents shadowed human diplomats, searching for any sign of sabotage or aggressive plans. Earth's own intelligence agencies responded in kind. Monitoring council factions suspected of fomenting unrest. Diplomatic channels became battlegrounds of words and subtext. Every statement was parsed for hidden meanings. Every delay or misstep amplified suspicions. In quiet moments, Lila Moreno reflected on how quickly a single gesture could ripple into chaos. It's as if the entire coalition is holding its breath, waiting for a reason to unleash years of distrust. Amid the diplomatic storm, grassroots movements emerged on several coalition planets. Citizens weary of conflict organized rallies, calling for dialogue and mutual understanding. These voices, though small against the cacophony of Warhawks, offered a flicker of hope back on Earth. Cultural specialists worked around the clock, compiling comprehensive guides on alien customs, etiquette, and history. Schools introduced courses about coalition cultures, preparing future diplomats and citizens for the challenges of interstellar relations. The coalition's leadership was divided. Some sought to cool tensions, proposing new forums for dialogue and transparency. Others, fearing loss of influence and control, pushed for military readiness and restrictive policies toward Earth. In one tense meeting, Ambassador Thalanor voiced a warning. If we allow fear to guide us, we risk losing what peace we have gained. We must find a way to understand, not just to respond. But Veshkar countered sharply. Understanding is a luxury when a threat grows at our borders. We must be ready to act decisively. The mounting tension came to a head in the border system of Lyra 7, a disputed sector where both human and coalition patrols operated. A routine reconnaissance mission spiraled into chaos when a miscommunication led to the death of an alien scout. The incident ignited a flare of anger across the coalition, with Warhawks demanding retaliation. Earth's commanders scrambled to de-escalate, but the damage was done. The skirmish was broadcast galaxy-wide, stoking the fires of distrust. President Salim faced a stark choice. Continue pursuing fragile diplomacy, or prepare for the possibility of war. War is not inevitable, she said, in a broadcast to Earth's citizens. But we must be ready to defend our home and our future. as the galaxy teetered between peace and conflict. Humanity's resilience and unity would be tested as never before. The border system of Lyra 7 had always been tensa. Thin line where the reaches of human exploration met the watchful eyes of the Galactic Coalition. It was a place where diplomats whispered, commanders calculated, and soldiers waited, knowing a single misstep could ignite a war. On the edge of the system, Captain Elena Ramos commanded the human patrol vessel Falcon's Wing. Her crew was a tight-knit group, trained to be cautious but ready for any situation. The recent tensions weighed heavily on them all, but they remained focused on their mission, monitoring coalition movements and maintaining the fragile peace. Falcon's Wing. This is Scout Vessel Orion 3. We have detected an unidentified ship. Near the border, reported Lieutenant Davin, the ship's communications officer. Elena's eyes sharpened. Details, Lieutenant. Ship is unmarked, moving slowly but steadily toward the outer perimeter. No response to hails yet. Elena nodded. Maintain course and prepare to engage if necessary. Let's see who's trying to sneak across our line. Moments later, a sleek craft appeared on their sensors, its design unfamiliar, but clearly of Coalition origin. Lena keyed the comms. This is Captain Ramos of the United Earth Fleet. Identify yourself and state your purpose in Lyra 7, static, answered her. Attempt hail again, Elena ordered. After several tense moments, the alien vessel responded with a cold, clipped message in the Coalition common tongue. This is reconnaissance ship Zephyr. We monitor all activity here. Cease your approach or be considered hostile. Elena's jaw tightened. We are on patrol. This is a border zone. Stand down or we will be forced to act. Suddenly, the Zephyr launched a burst of electromagnetic pulses enough to disrupt Falcon's Wing's sensors momentarily. Shields up, evasive maneuvers, Elena commanded. The crew sprang into action as the patrol vessel shook from the unexpected assault. Return fire only if fired upon. Captain, cautioned Lieutenant Davin. Hands flying over the controls. The Zephyr sent another pulse, this time targeting communications. The Falcon's Wing was cut off from command. On the bridge, tension thickened like a storm. Are they trying to provoke us? Elena asked aloud. Could be a test, her second-in-command replied. Or a mistake. Before they could react. Further, a shot fired a concentrated energy blast streaked toward the Zephyr. Return fire, Elena ordered, fingers steady on the controls. The skirmish was brief but fierce. Both ships sustained damage. The Zephyr retreated into a nearby asteroid belt, disappearing from sensors. Back on Orion's gate, news of the skirmish spread quickly, igniting outrage across the Coalition and on Earth. Counselor Veshkar used the incident as proof of humanity's aggression, broadcasting fiery speeches accusing Earth of breaking the treaty and threatening Coalition security. On Earth, leaders condemned the attack on Falcon's Wing, but urged calm. General Marcus Reed addressed the media. Captain Ramos and her crew acted with restraint under hostile fire. We did not initiate conflict. We remain committed to peace, but will defend our people and territory. The Lyra 7 incident deepened the divide within the Coalition. Warhawks pressed for military retaliation, while moderates called for restraint and renewed talks. President Salim convened her Security Council. This incident was a spark. We must control the fire. Our response will determine if this war starts or if peace holds. Diplomatic envoys raced to negotiate emergency talks, but mistrust clogged every channel. Both sides accused the other of provocation and bad faith. Meanwhile, covert intelligence teams increased their activity. Suspicious movements and encrypted messages hinted at hidden forces eager to exploit the crisis for their own ends. Captain Ramos. Meanwhile, found herself both a hero and a symbol of the fragile line humanity now walked in a quiet moment aboard Falcon's wing. She spoke with Lieutenant Davin. "We were lucky this didn't escalate further," she said. "One wrong move, and it could have become a full-scale war." Davin nodded. "It's a reminder that peace is fragile, and sometimes the smallest spark can ignite the biggest fire." As the galaxy held its breath, the stage was set for what could become a conflict that would test humanity's resolve, then the galaxy's future. The skirmish at Lyra 7 had shaken both sides, and the threat of war loomed closer than ever. Yet, amid the mounting tensions and rising fears, humanity's spirit of innovation and adaptability began to reveal its greatest strengths. Deep within the sprawling research facilities of the United Earth Fleet, Dr. Priya Kaur led a team of engineers and scientists working tirelessly to develop new defensive technologies. Their goal was clear: to protect humanity without escalating violence. "We need something that can neutralize hostile weapon systems before they cause damage," Priya explained during a briefing. "Something flexible, adaptable, and unpredictable, just like humans themselves." Her team had already made progress on an advanced electromagnetic shielding system that could absorb and redirect energy blasts. But now, inspired by the diversity of Earth's environments, they looked beyond traditional designs. "We're incorporating principles from everything's jungle camouflage, desert heat dispersal, even the electrical discharges of deep-sea creatures," Priya said with a smile. "The idea is to create defenses that opponents don't expect and can't easily counter." On the training grounds of the Earth Fleet's flagship, New Dawn, pilots were undergoing simulations unlike any before. Captain Alina Ramos, fresh from the Lyra 7 encounter, led a squadron practicing unconventional tactics. They studied Earth's varied landscapes, how animals outwit predators in forests, deserts, and mountains, and adapted those strategies to space combat. "Predictability is a weakness," Alina told her squadron. "Our advantage is creativity and adaptability. The Coalition expects straightforward tactics. Let's give them something they can't anticipate." The drills tested new maneuvers, sudden shifts in trajectory like birds evading falcons, bursts of speed inspired by desert reptiles, and formations mimicking schools of fish to confuse enemy targeting systems. Meanwhile, analysts monitored Coalition communications, noting growing frustration among their commanders. The Warhawks had anticipated a swift conflict, but humanity's unexpected defenses and tactics forced them to reconsider. Ambassador Lila Moreno, now working closely with military advisors, observed the shifts with cautious optimism. "They still doubt us," she admitted, "but they're beginning to respect our resilience." Back on Earth, citizens followed every development with a mix of pride and anxiety. News broadcasts featured stories of scientists pushing boundaries and pilots honing their skills, inspiring hope. But human ingenuity was not only technological across the Coalition. Some alien species marveled at humanity's ability to learn, adapt, and unite despite their tumultuous history. In council chambers, voices calling for dialogue and cooperation grew louder on a distant planet in the Coalition's core worlds. Ambassador Thalanor met secretly with human diplomats. "Your people are unpredictable," he admitted, "but that unpredictability is a strength. It forces us to rethink old assumptions." Together, they proposed joint research projects to explore combined technologies and cultural exchanges to build trust. Not everyone welcomed these developments. The Warhawks intensified their rhetoric, denouncing cooperation as naive and dangerous. Counselor Veshkar's broadcasts grew more urgent, warning that humanity's ingenuity was a mask for unchecked ambition. But the tide was shifting in response. 2 intelligence reports revealing covert sabotage attempts by hardliners. Earth and moderate Coalition members formed an alliance, dedicated to preserving peace, Their first joint mission was to secure a vital communication relay station on the edge of Coalition space, a test of their ability to work together under pressure. The operation was a success, combining human tactical flexibility with alien technological expertise. Captain Ramos led the human contingent with quiet confidence. "This is more than a mission," she told her team. "It's proof that when we unite, we are stronger." As the relay station's systems hummed to life under their control, signals of cooperation spread across the galaxy. The moment was bittersweet. The shadow of conflict had not disappeared, but humanity's ingenuity and the emerging alliances offered a new path forward. Back on Orion's gate, President Salim addressed a joint session of human and coalition representatives. "We have faced the darkest threats together," she said. "Our greatest weapon is not our firepower, but our ability to adapt, learn, and unite. Let this be the foundation of a lasting peace." The crowd erupted in applause, a mixture of hope and determination filling the chamber in the stars beyond. The galaxy watched and waited to see if that hope would be enough to overcome fear and division, while the surface of the galaxy shimmered. With renewed hope, darker currents churned beneath. The uneasy peace was fragile, and not everyone wanted it to last. In the shadowy corners of Orion's gate, unseen hands wove webs of intrigue. Agents from various factions, human and alien alike, moved covertly, each driven by motives that twisted loyalty, power, and fear. On a dimly lit corridor, cloaked figures exchanged coded messages. Among them was an operative known only as Shade, a human with no official rank but deep ties to Earth's intelligence network. He had discovered unsettling intelligence, a secret faction within the Coalition, backed by powerful warhawks, was plotting to sabotage the fragile alliance. There, planning an attack, Shade whispered into a comlink. "Something big. Something designed to make us look like the aggressors." The warning reached Ambassador Lila Moreno just as she prepared for a cultural symposium aimed at healing wounds. She gathered trusted allies immediately. "We cannot let this conspiracy succeed," she said. "It could destroy everything we've worked for." Meanwhile, on the Coalition side, Ambassador Thalanor faced his own dilemma. His moderate faction was losing ground to extremists emboldened by recent tensions. Thalanor met secretly with his closest advisors. "The Warhawks grow reckless," he warned. "If we do not expose their plans, peace will be lost." The conspirators' plan was both cunning and ruthless: to stage an attack on a Coalition space station that would be blamed on Earth's forces, provoking outrage and war. Back on Earth, President Salim authorized increased security and counterintelligence operations. "We must root out this threat before it ignites a war." Captain Alina Ramos was assigned to lead a covert task force charged with uncovering and preventing sabotage. Her team included specialists from Earth and Coalition worlds, a testament to the trust that had grown despite turmoil. They began by analyzing recent anomalies, communication blackouts, unexplained equipment failures, and suspicious ship movements. Near strategic locations, the deeper they dug, the clearer the picture became. The conspirators had infiltrated multiple levels of the Coalition's command structure, and possibly Earth's own agencies. Elena's team raced against time. Each discovery revealed new layers of deception, forcing them to question allies and confront betrayal. One night, as Alina reviewed intercepted transmissions aboard the New Dawn, a message sent chills through her. "Operation Eclipse will begin at Lyris. 7. Blame the humans. Initiate the strike." Her heart pounded. The same border where the first skirmish had nearly sparked war was about to become the flashpoint. She alerted Ambassador Moreno and General Reed. "This is it," Alina said grimly. "We have to act fast." Together, the coalition moderates, and human forces devised a counter-operation. They would secure Lyra 7, expose the conspirators, then prevent the attack. On the eve of the planned strike, fleets from both sides assembled discreetly near the system. Soldiers, diplomats, and spies worked in unison, aware that failure meant catastrophe in the shadows of the asteroid belt. Elena's task force intercepted the saboteurs' fleet. A tense standoff followed, marked by precision tactics and nerve-wracking negotiations, when the conspirators were captured. Incriminating evidence was broadcast to the entire coalition and Earth simultaneously. The truth shattered the Warhawks narrative, revealing the plot to manipulate both sides into war. Councillor Veshkar's influence waned as moderates regained control. The Coalition Council called for renewed peace talks, bolstered by the undeniable proof of conspiracy. Despite the victory, the cost was clear. Trust had been deeply fractured, and the scars of betrayal lingered. President Salam addressed the galaxy, her voice steady but solemn. This conspiracy shows how fragile peace can be. But it also shows our strength when we stand together against those who seek division. Ambassador Thalanor, now an advocate for unity, added, "We must remain vigilant and committed. The shadows will always test us, but light can prevail." As Orion's Gate returned to a tense calm, humanity and the coalition faced a critical choice: build on the hard-won peace or fall back into fear and conflict. In the vastness of space, the future remained uncertain, but for now, hope endured, fueled by courage, trust, and the unyielding will to survive together. The aftermath of the exposed conspiracy sent ripples through the coalition and Earth alike. The revelation that Warhawks had attempted to ignite a galaxy-wide conflict left many shaken, but it also opened the door for something new, genuine. Cooperation born from shared struggle. At Orion's Gate, the Grand Council chamber buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose. Representatives from dozens of species gathered, their faces marked by fatigue, hope, and determination. Ambassador Lila Moreno stood at the forefront, ready to address the assembly. "Today," he began, her voice steady, "we face not only the scars of past mistakes, but the opportunity to build a future together. We have survived deception, hostility, and misunderstanding. Now, we must prove that unity is stronger than division." The coalition's leadership, guided by moderates like Ambassador Thalanor, proposed a historic initiative, a combined peacekeeping force staffed by humans and coalition members alike, dedicated to preventing future conflicts and fostering trust. President Amina Salim endorsed the plan, emphasizing that humanity's future in the galaxy depended on partnership, not domination. Training facilities were established on neutral worlds, where soldiers and diplomats from different species learned to work side by side. Cultural exchange programs blossomed, creating friendships and alliances that transcended old prejudices. Captain Alina Ramos found herself at the heart of this transformation. She now commanded a multinational fleet unit, responsible for border patrols and rapid response to emerging threats. During a joint exercise near the contested system of Lyra 7, Alina observed something remarkable. Species that had once regarded each other with suspicion now communicated seamlessly, their crews coordinating maneuvers with precision and mutual respect. "Look at them," Alina remarked to Lieutenant Davin. "This is what peace looks like." But peace was not guaranteed. Beneath the surface, tensions still simmered. Some factions resisted the new order, clinging to old fears and ambitions. In one corner of the coalition, a group of extremists plotted quietly, unwilling to accept the shift toward cooperation. Ambassador Moreno and her allies remained vigilant. "We must address these threats not with force alone, but with understanding and inclusion," she urged during council meetings. The coalition also launched ambitious projects to address shared challenges, environmental restoration of war-torn planets, joint research on medical breakthroughs, and collaborative exploration missions beyond known space. As humans and aliens worked together, mutual respect grew. The barriers of language, culture, and history began to crumble. Even Counselor Veshkar, once a fierce warhawk, found himself isolated and marginalized. His warnings of inevitable conflict were met with skepticism and resolve. Yet, the past was never far away. During a diplomatic summit, a tense exchange reminded all present of the fragility of their progress. A delegate from a distant species sharply criticized humanity's rapid expansion, accusing them of disregarding coalition. Sovereignty. Ambassador Moreno responded with measured calm. Growth and change are natural, but so is respect. We must find balance, not dominance. The dialogue was difficult, but necessary. It reinforced the understanding that peace required ongoing effort and compromise. Back on Earth, citizens felt the impact of these changes in daily life. Students studied coalition languages and histories. Artists created works celebrating unity. Families welcomed alien visitors, sharing meals and stories. President Salim addressed her people in a heartfelt broadcast. We have been tested by conflict and conspiracy. Now we are tested by peace. Our true strength lies in how we choose to move forward together. As the galaxy moved toward a new era, the lessons of the past remained clear. Unity was fragile, and vigilance essential. But humanity's willingness to learn and adapt offered a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of stars. Alliances formed, trust blossomed, and a new chapter began, one where humanity was no longer an outsider, but a vital part of a shared destiny. Years had passed since the turmoil at Lyra 7 nearly plunged the galaxy into war. The scars of conflict and conspiracy still lingered in the memories of many, but from those ashes rose a fragile and determined peace. Humanity and the coalition had taken their first true steps toward a shared future, one built on trust, respect, and collaboration. On the observation deck of the flagship New Dawn, Captain Elena Ramos gazed out at the glittering stars. Around her, the multinational crew worked seamlessly. A living testament to what had been achieved. Who would have thought, Elena mused, that once we stood on the brink of war, now we patrol these borders as partners. Lieutenant Davin approached, a quiet smile on his face. It's proof that even the darkest moments can lead to something better. Lena nodded, her thoughts drifting to the countless lives changed by the conflict of families who lost loved ones, the politicians who chose courage over fear, the scientists whose innovations reshaped defense and diplomacy beyond the political and military strides. The galaxy itself seemed to respond. Long-neglected worlds began to heal. Ecosystems revived by joint efforts, and cultural exchanges flourished. Music, art, and stories from different species blended in new and vibrant ways, enriching all who experienced them. In the grand halls of Orion's Gate, the Coalition Council gathered for a historic ceremony. Representatives from every member species, including humanity's President Amina Salim and Ambassador Lila Moreno, stood united to inaugurate the Galactic Alliance, a new organization dedicated to peaceful cooperation, mutual defense, and shared prosperity. President Salim's voice carried across the chamber, steady and hopeful. We have faced trials that tested our resolve. We have overcome fear and division by choosing unity. Today, we celebrate not only a treaty, but a commitment to one another, an alliance born of understanding and respect. Ambassador Thalanor, representing the coalition's moderates, added, "Let this alliance be a beacon of hope for all species, a promise that no matter how vast the stars, we are stronger together." The applause was thunderous, a collective sound of hope echoing across worlds. Yet, even as celebrations filled the halls, leaders remained vigilant. the galaxy, was vast and filled with unknown dangers, old grudges, new ambitions, and the ever-present mystery of the cosmos. The Alliance knew that peace was not a destination, but a continuous journey. On Earth, life had transformed. Schools taught Coalition history alongside human heritage. Cities bustled with alien visitors and human explorers alike. Scientific teams embarked on joint missions, pushing the boundaries of knowledge and discovery. President Salim, in a reflective moment during her final term, spoke to the people. Our future is a tapestry woven from many threads, different species, cultures, and dreams. Together, we create a story greater than any one of us alone. Back aboard the New Dawn, Captain Ramos prepared for a new mission, a deep space expedition, to explore a recently discovered region beyond known Coalition space. The mission symbolized humanity's new role: explorers, diplomats, and guardians of peace. As the ship slipped into faster-than-light travel, Elena looked out at the stars with quiet determination. The galaxy is vast and full of unknowns, she thought. But we face it not as isolated worlds, but as a united alliance. The hum of the engines filled the room, carrying humanity and its allies toward horizons yet unseen. It was a new dawn indeed, a beginning forged in crisis, hope, and the unyielding will to build a better future.